Hello! Today we're going to review the essential rules for obtaining and operating a commercial driver's license in New York. This will help you confidently prepare for your CDL exam. Let's get started. What agency issues CDL licenses in New York? New York State Department of Motor Vehicles (DMV). This is the official licensing authority in the state. Let's continue. What is the minimum age for interstate CDL driving in New York? 21 years old. Interstate driving requires meeting federal standards. Next question. What is the minimum age for intrastate CDL driving in New York? 18 years old. At this age, you may drive only within New York. Let's move on. What combination weight requires a Class A CDL in New York? Combination vehicles over 26,000 pounds where the towed unit exceeds 10,000 pounds. This applies to tractor-trailers and large combinations. Next point. What vehicles require a Class B CDL in New York? Single vehicles over 26,000 pounds or towing a unit not exceeding 10,000 pounds. Common examples include large trucks and buses. Continuing. What vehicles require a Class C CDL in New York? Vehicles under 26,001 pounds carrying hazmat or designed for 16 or more passengers including the driver. Special cargo or passenger capacity requires this class. Let's keep going. How long is a New York Commercial Learner's Permit CLP valid? 180 days, renewable once for another 180 days. Be sure to complete testing within this time. Next question. What supervision is required when driving with a New York CLP? A CDL holder with proper class and endorsements must sit in the front passenger seat. Supervision is mandatory. Let's continue. What vision standard is required for a New York CDL? 20/40 in each eye with or without correction and at least 70 degrees peripheral vision. Good vision is essential for safety. Next point. How often must a New York CDL holder renew their medical certificate? Every 2 years unless a condition requires more frequent review. Keep your certification up to date. Next question. What blood pressure level qualifies for a full 2-year medical certificate? 140/90 or below. Higher levels may limit certification. Let's move on. What happens to a New York CDL if the medical certificate expires? The CDL is downgraded until a valid certificate is on file. You cannot operate commercially without it. Continuing. What condition disqualifies a driver from a medical certificate? Epilepsy not controlled by medication and insulin-dependent diabetes in most cases. These conditions affect driving safety. Next point. What is the minimum tread depth on front steering axle tires for a CMV in New York? 4/32 of an inch. Steering tires must maintain strong traction. Let's continue. What is the minimum tread depth on all other CMV tires in New York? 2/32 of an inch. Proper tread ensures safe handling. Next question. What is the maximum single axle weight on New York highways? 22,400 pounds. Weight limits protect roads and bridges. Let's move on. What is the maximum tandem axle weight on New York highways? 36,000 pounds. Tandem limits are strictly enforced. Continuing. What is the maximum gross vehicle weight on New York State highways without a permit? 80,000 pounds. Heavier loads require permits. Next point. What is the New York Trip Program? A permit system allowing overweight and overdimensional vehicles to travel on designated New York routes. This program manages oversized transport. Let's keep going. What is unique about New York City CDL operations? NYC has additional local regulations including specific route restrictions, bridge and tunnel permits, and idling laws stricter than state rules. Urban driving has added requirements. Next question. What are the 3 parts of total stopping distance? Perception distance, reaction distance, and braking distance. All 3 contribute to safe stopping. Let's continue. At 55 miles per hour, how far does a loaded truck travel before stopping under ideal conditions? About 390 feet. Real-world conditions may increase this distance. Next point. What following distance applies under normal driving conditions? 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle length plus 1 second over 40 miles per hour. Maintain proper spacing at all times. Let's move on. What following distance change is needed in bad weather? Double the normal following distance. Poor conditions require extra caution. Continuing. What speed reduction is recommended on wet roads in a CMV? Reduce by 1/3. Wet surfaces reduce traction. Next question. What speed reduction applies on packed snow? Reduce by 1/2. Snow significantly affects control. Let's continue. What technique prevents brake fade on New York downgrades? Select a low gear before the descent and apply brakes in firm controlled intervals. This prevents overheating. Next point, what gear should be selected before descending a steep grade? Same gear needed to climb the same grade. This ensures better control. Let's move on. What is the normal air pressure range in a CMV brake system? 100 to 125 psi. Always monitor your gauges. Continuing. At what pressure does the low air warning activate? 60 psi. This is a critical warning. Next question. What should a driver do when the low air warning activates? Exit safely and stop the vehicle immediately. Do not continue driving. Let's continue. What are spring brakes in a CMV? Emergency and parking brakes held by air that apply automatically when pressure drops below roughly 20 to 45 psi. They act as a fail-safe. Next point, what is the air loss rate limit with brakes released? No more than 3 psi per minute. Higher loss indicates a leak. Let's keep going. What brake check is required during the pre-trip inspection? Build air-to-governor cutoff test warning at 60 psi. Verify parking brake holds and inspect all brake components. Always perform a full check. Next question. What are the steps of the CDL pre-trip inspection? Overview: engine compartment, cab, interior lights, front walk-around, and signal check. Follow a consistent routine. Let's continue. What items are checked under the hood during a CMV pre-trip? Oil, power steering fluid, coolant belts, hoses, wiring, and air compressor. These are critical systems. Next point. What is off-tracking in large vehicles? Rear wheels following a shorter arc than front wheels in a turn. Be aware during turns. Let's move on. What is jackknifing and what causes it? Trailer folding against the tractor from locked trailer wheels during hard braking. Avoid sudden braking. Continuing. What is the tug test when coupling a tractor trailer? Engaging low gear and gently pulling against the locked kingpin to confirm fifth wheel engagement. Always verify the connection. Next question. What is the correct uncoupling order for a tractor trailer? Lower landing gear, apply trailer brakes, disconnect air lines and electrical chock wheels, then extract the tractor. Follow each step carefully. Let's continue. What are the glad hands on a combination vehicle? Connectors joining service and emergency air lines between tractor and trailer. They control airflow for braking. Next point. What happens if the emergency airline disconnects while the vehicle is moving? Trailer brakes apply automatically. This is a built-in safety feature. Let's keep going. What is the trailer hand valve used for? Testing trailer brakes only, never while driving, as it can cause jackknifing. Use it only when stationary. Next question. What cargo securement rule applies to New York flatbeds? Cargo must be immobilized with enough tie-downs based on weight and length within each tie-down rated capacity. Proper securement prevents accidents. Let's continue. What CDL offense results in a 1-year disqualification in New York? DUI in a CMV, leaving the scene of a CMV accident using a CMV in a felony, or driving with a revoked CDL. These are major violations. Next point. What results in lifetime CDL disqualification in New York? Using a CMV to commit a felony involving controlled substances or a second major disqualifying offense. Some violations are permanent. Continuing. What is a serious traffic violation for CDL purposes in New York? Excessive speeding, reckless driving, improper lane change, following too closely, and texting while driving a CMV. Avoid repeated violations. Next question. How many serious violations in 3 years trigger a 60-day CDL disqualification? 2 within 3 years. Repeated offenses lead to suspension. Let's continue. What is New York law on handheld cell phone use in a CMV? Prohibited at all times while driving a CMV and counts as a serious traffic violation. Stay focused on the road. Final point. What CDL endorsements are available in New York? H hazmat, N tank, P passenger, S school bus, T double triple trailers, and X combined hazmat and tank.